Good morning, all of you. So, in today's class, we shall discuss the fourth module, that is the extracting meaning from data. So, here we shall discuss how the companies which are dealing with a large set of data extract the information that is relevant to them. So, the two key persons have different approaches on how to extract the data in large organization. So one person is the William Kureski, who works in Kaggle, and David Hufker from Google. So these two persons have been carrying out research in data science. So William is a person who works on cancer research and studying the uh, pathology. So they give some background about the data science computation and crowdsourcing. So before that, we need to focus on the feature extraction and feature selection. So feature extraction is a process where we will take the raw dump of data and curate it carefully to avoid the garbage formation. And then we will just feed the raw data into an algorithm without the foresight. Then in whereas feature selection, it is a process of constructing the subset of data through functions to predictors, where here the data will act as a predictor or variables for the models and algorithms. So there are many data science competitions that are conducted worldwide. So there are history in machine learning community also, where individuals and teams compete over a period. Some of the competition will take place for weeks, months, to design a prediction algorithm. So here they predict the nature of data based on a particular data set. So a training set is provided, an evaluation metric determined upfront, and some set of rules are also provided. So for example, how often competitors can submit the prediction, whether are the teams can merge into a larger team. So all those things are decided and competitions are established. So some of the machine learning competitions include the annual uh, KDD competition. So KDD means knowledge discovery and data mining. So it is one of the largest machine learning competition. So $1 million amount prize was also given in that particular competition. So some of the remarks about the data science competitions are really useful in knowing it. So data science competitions are part of data science ecosystem. So one of the cultural forces at play in the current data science landscape, and it helps for the aspiring data scientists to be aware of all these factors. So another advantage of these data science competitions include, so creating the competition puts one position to codify the data science. So in data science, we model, define, extract the feature and select. But when it comes to coding, we need these kind of competitions where challenges can be established. So when through these set of competitions, so we'll come to know what is the real problem about implementing it. So finally, the competitors in various competitions, they get ranked, and then a top data scientist would be their standings in the competition. So those who are victorious, they will be termed as a top data scientist. So this is how top ranking data scientist talent will be identified. So other important thing we have in data science is the crowdsourcing. So you might have heard this word crowdsourcing. So there are two kinds of crowdsourcing model. So the first one is distributive crowdsourcing model, like Wikipedia, which is very relatively simple, but large scale contributions are done on Wikipedia. So anyone can contribute. Of course, that will go through the various process where the information will be updated real time based on some people will be sitting there who verify the data. So that can be done. So on Wikipedia, it is just like an online encyclopedia. So anyone in the world can contribute to the content, and there is a regulatory system and also the quality control system set up by the volunteers. So the effect is fairly high quality information is available for all the human beings, and any human being can contribute who want the knowledge to reach everyone and enrich the knowledge. Then there is a singular focused difficult problems at Kaggle. So they have one project that is called as DARPA, DARPA, and Innocentive and other companies are also specialized in this. So these companies issue a challenge to the public, but generally only very small set of people who are highly specialized compete and take part in the competition, and usually a cash prize or a respect in the community will be earned. So crowdsourcing projects have historically had a number of issues that impact their usefulness. So a couple of aspects would impact the likelihood of people being participated. So many people lack the evaluation metric. So how do we decide who wins? So that in itself is a complex. So in some cases, evaluation method is not always objective. So a judge will be there, and who will decide uh, whether our model is a bad design or of a different taste, or whether it is useful or not. So this lead to high bias and entry barrier. People don't trust the evaluation criteria. So additionally, one doesn't get a recognition until you have won a certain position. So this led to huge, sunk of cost for participants also. So organizational factors can also hinder to these kind of success. So competition that is not run well conflicts the participants with, they lose their interest. So learning from the mistakes, we expect a good competition to have a feasible, interesting questions with evaluation metrics that is transparent and objective. So if the problem is given, the data set is given, and metrics of success is given, then we can establish who has done performed very well. But most of the things will be unclear in these kind of competitions. See, the other set of model is called as the Kaggle model specified by the William. So Kaggle is a company whose tagline is "We are making data science a sport." So this Kaggle forms a relationship with the companies and also with the data scientists. And for a specific field, so Kaggle hosts a competition for business that essentially want to crowdsource to solve the problem of data. So if a problem is encountered, then what they do is they will just create a competition, and that particular data is given as a competition, and several people participate and try to solve the problem. So then they will select the best solution and award in the competition. They also have a top notch of data scientists. So the companies are paying to the customers, they provide the data set and data problem they want to be solved in the competition. So there are various uh, things like a single contestant. So in Kaggle competition, so they will give a training set and also a test set. Okay. Then Y's are hidden and X's are given. Means the output is given, the features are given. So just we have to use our models and we have to predict the X values for the test set and upload them into their particular system for the evaluation score. So this way what they do is you don't share your actual code, but we will share the only the output. And Kaggle, unless you win the prize, so you need not worry about your code being getting reviewed. So on Kaggle, the participants are encouraged to submit their models up to 5 times in a day during the competition. So for the entire duration of the competition, so this is allowed. So as the contestants submit the predictions, so a leaderboard will be updated. Okay. So this is how competitions can be held. So one such graph I will show. So here is a graph. So of Chris Mulligan, a student in one of the project, has created the leapfrogging visualization to capture the competition dashboard in a real time. No. So this is how the graph looks. Okay, the submission time and the score on the y-axis. So this leapfrogging effect is good and at the same time it is bad. So this leapfrogging will encourage people to squeeze out the better performance, um, and but there will be a risk of overfitting also. But this also tend to make the model much more complicated um, than the earlier versions. And one reason is we don't get the computation lasting too long. So it is only specified duration. So the other method is the their customers. So why would companies pay to work with Kaggle? The hole that Kaggle is filling is there is a mismatch between those who need the analysis and those who are with the skills. So even though companies desperately need analysis, they tend to hold the data. So they will not give their real data. So this is the biggest obstacle for success for those companies. So which host the Kaggle competition also. So many companies don't host the competition at all for the same reasons because they don't want to share the data. But the Kaggle's innovation is that it convinces the business to share the proprietary data with the benefit that their larger data problems will be solved by creating a crowdsourcing kind of competitions. So the Kaggle's contests have produced very good results so far. For example, the Allstate Auto Insurance Company, so which had a good actual team already, has challenged the data science competition to improve the actual model. So given the attributes of drivers, approximatives of probability of car crash, the 202 competitors improved this model by 271%. So under normalized Gini coefficient. Okay, so that is one example of the event. So, but the next question that arises is it fair? Is it fair to host such events? So, data scientists are already working at companies. So, who are the actually the business partners or customers with Kaggle. So some of them may lose their job. For example, if the result of a competition is better than the internal model, then is it fair to get people who did the basic work for free and ultimately benefit for a company? Or does it result in a data scientist losing their fair market value? So that's why Kaggle charges a fee for hosting the competition and it offers a well-defined price also. So a given data scientist can always choose to compare with himself. So this seems like it would be a great opportunity for companies, but only while data scientists of the world, they have not yet realized it. So the value and the extra time that they will get with these kind of competitions. Okay. So recently, when Facebook was hiring data scientists, they hosted a competition. No, the prize was an interview. That's it. So there were 422 competitors. So from them, they selected for the interview. So when it's convenient for Facebook to have an interview for data science positions in such a posture of gratitude for a mere interview, so this will actually distract the data scientists from asking hard questions. So about what data policies are and underlying ethics of the company. So again, Kaggle's SS scoring competition is also there. So in SS scoring competition, no, they will use the data. Just like this one. The various aspects of such an essay competition will be ID. That is a unique identifier for each individual essay they set. So then 1 to 5. So an ID for each set of essays. Then essay will be in the ANSI text of a student response. Then there will be two people who will grade. Grader one's grade and grader two. Then a grade resolved between the raters. So in this competition, there will be 5 set of essays. So each set of essay was generated from a single prompt. So selected essays will range from an average length of 150 to 500 words per response. So some of the essays are dependent upon source informations and others are independent. So all responses were written by the student, so ranging from the grade 7 to 10. All essays were hand graded and they were double scored, which means two people will be evaluating it. So each of the data set has its own unique characteristics. The variability is intended to test the limit of the scoring engine capability. So, and the various columns of such a scoring engine is this one, ID 1 to 5, ID for essay, then rater 1's score, rater 2 score, and the final grade. So that is the essay competition. But throughout this particular experiment, there will be some ethical implications. So when we have such competitions, so the next question that arises is, yes, we have already discussed this, the fairness. Is it fair? So human graders are not always, fair. So throughout the experiment, there will be ethical implications of the competition that will be conducted. So the various thoughts about this competition will be whether human graders are fair or not. So in case of doctors, so there has been a studies that where a given doctor is shown on the same slide 2 months apart and gives two different diagnoses. Okay, so for the same patient, the same symptoms or the same X-rays. So different diagnosis has been done by the same doctors. So they are not consistent themselves. So when humans are not consistent, then how can we expect a fairness using the machine learning algorithms? So that is actually a one concern. So machine learning has been used to research cancer, where the stakes are much very higher. Although there is a probability that less efforts are there in the gaming scenarios. So this is one of the ethical implications that has been described by RoboGarder. The second aspect is, our machine learning make things more structured, and is this inhibiting the creativity? So some people say that the people want the things to be standardized. So it gives us the consistency that we like. People don't want artistic cars, for example, they want safe cars. So even so, is it wise to move from the human to machine version of a same thing for a given thing? So is universal answer, or is it a case study kind of a question that imbibing structureness will reduce the creativity? So that issue has also needs to be addressed. And the last aspect is the goal of a test to write a good essay or to do well in standardized tests? So we may consider a test like a screening, where we want to follow certain set of instructions and we'll get the grade depending on how well we follow the instructions. And we may also have a scenario like a real profit center for standardized testing. So if you want to sell the books, then how to test such scenarios, or how does translation takes place in such scenarios to digitization? So one possible way is could be to have algorithms that game the grader algorithms. So which means the algorithms are itself graded. So the learning algorithms are themselves graded. So that is one possible way. Again, that could be an education turning into a war of machines. So an algorithm determining the efficiency of another algorithm. So these are the ethical implications we have when we conduct such tests. So there is again a trade-off between domain expertise versus the machine learning. So what separate the winners from others who ran? So one scientist says that the difference between a good participant and a bad one is the information they feed to the algorithm. So first we have to decide what to abstract from the data. And the other aspect is whether to follow the traditional approach or to build the predictive models. Then, is there any rule of expert knowledge? So some kind of experts are required early when you are trying to work out what problem we are going to solve. The expertise we need is a strategy expertise in answering the questions that arise in solving a problem. So is there any downsides to data driven black box kind of approach? So some people take a view that you don't end up with richer understanding the problem. So algorithm tell you what is important and what is not. But to design an algorithm, a data scientist is required. And we also end up with predictive model that works. So domain expertise is required to solve the machine learning algorithm. So both are required. Okay. So these are just a few glimpses of initial content regarding the feature selection and feature extraction. So in our next class, we shall study the feature selection process with one example, that is the user retention case study example. So you can enter your attendance in the chat and exit.